Good evening and welcome to a very special show. I'm Vishnu Shom. Tonight, in part one of our special program done in conjunction with NDTV-CSDS, we bring you a very special poll, an opinion poll on 9 years of the Modi government. The poll reflects what people in India feel about a host of crucial issues, from assessing the most popular leaders, political parties, and key issues from corruption, development, the handling of key crises, and key economic issues as well. By the end of part two of this program, in fact, even by the end of this program, you, the viewer, will have, we hope, an idea of where we are placed as a country a year ahead of elections. What do people really think about the very critical issues, some of which I've highlighted? First, as we start this program, we'd like to establish the credibility of this poll, of this survey, because that's important. It'll give you an idea of the expanse and the breadth of the survey which has been done. It's an all-India survey. NDTV-CSDS conducted the survey among 7,202 people spread across 19 states, 71 constituencies in India. The survey was carried out between the 10th of May and the 19th of May. It covered a representative cross-section of people in India, and that is really important. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment, but joining me on the program, Sanjay Kumar of NDTV-CSDS, Neerja Chaudhary and Shekhar Iyer. I'd like to thank you all very much for being with us. There's some pretty exciting data coming up, but you're going to have to wait for that, because I think it's important that Sanjay actually tells us why this is representative of men, women, different parts of the country, different age groups.
That's very important, Vishnu, because we come across lots of polls these days. Polls in newspaper, polls on different channels, all kinds of polls. What is important to tell the viewer that the sample is small, much smaller compared to large-scale polls which people are doing these days. We have a sample of 7,200 spread across 71 parliamentary constituency, but look at the profile of these people who have been interviewed, 7,200 people. This truly represents the voters of this country. When I say truly represents the voter of this country, in terms of some variables at least. Gender profile, we have in our sample more or less similar proportion of women and men as they are represented in country's population.
Right.
If you look at in terms of Muslims, rural, urban, Dalits, Adivasis, they are all more or less in similar proportion in the sample of 7,200 if you compare it with the population of this country. This is very important. If you don't have a representative sample, the chances of findings being biased is very high.
Right. Now, that's so important. So let's start, we thought, with a real big bang. But let me assure you that you do need to wait till the end of the program as well, because there's a big bang or two at the end as well. But the first key graphic that we'd like to bring up, a public opinion: who will be Prime Minister of India if elections are held today? What is also important over here is that CSDS didn't list names, and we need to make mention of this as well. This is what people felt. 43% of people felt Narendra Modi, 27% felt Rahul Gandhi, 4% Mamta Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal 4%, Akhilesh Yadav 3%, Nitish Kumar 1%, and other leaders 18%. All right. We'll talk about that in a moment, but I think let's try and understand where the two major leaders, Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi, were and where they are now. So in 2019, right, who will be Prime Minister if elections are held today? Where were they in 2019? Where are they today? Narendra Modi, just a 1% decline. Now, he's been Prime Minister for 9 years. So from 44 to 43%, almost negligible, gives you an idea of the extent of popularity of our Prime Minister. Rahul Gandhi, on the other hand, has gone up, but 3%. It's a substantial 3%, but not substantial if you look at the difference between Modi today and Rahul Gandhi today. So what do people think about Prime Minister Modi? Let's bring up the next point as well. What do people think about Prime Minister Modi? Now, this is important and we need to explain it. 40% like Narendra Modi, 23% dislike Narendra Modi, Neither like or dislike, 25%. In other words, these people are neutral, and there's been a no response for 12%. So 65% either like or are neutral in their opinion of Narendra Modi. Similarly, if we actually add up that category of neutral, 48% either dislike or are neutral about Narendra Modi. But let's look at the top line numbers once again, because we'll be talking about this a lot. 40% like Narendra Modi, 23% dislike Narendra Modi. What do you like about Narendra Modi, right? What is it that people like about Narendra Modi? This is also important because as you see these categories, CSDS has not gone and said A, B, C, D, E, F, here are the topics, please pick them. They have not said that at all. In fact, they've given power to the people that they've questioned, right? And here's what people said. Oratory skills, 25%. Development, 20%. Hard work, 13%. Charisma, 13%. Policies, 11%. Other categories, not specified over here, 15%. No response, 3%. So this is important because I think the cult of Modi, the personality of Modi, whether it is his oratory skills, whether it is his charisma or hard work, right? If that is part of the persona that is Narendra Modi, that actually accounts for more than, for example, policies or development. Now, you would have seen what happened in Australia today, where he attracts so many people around the world. Quite clearly, the personality of Narendra Modi, his charisma, accounts for a lot that the BJP is riding on. So let me just go straight across to Sanjay, Nija and Shekhar Iyer. Let me come across to you once again first, Sanjay. I think the key point over here is the second one, where Rahul Gandhi is improving, but not fast enough.
Yeah. Vishnu, I think for the viewers, it is important to tell them, you have already mentioned, because viewers might get confused. Sometimes Prime Minister Modi's ratings are in the 80s, 85, 87%, and our rating is only at 44. 44 is not a small number, 43. It's a big number. Why do I say it's a big number? Because this is the percentage of people who have taken name of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whom they want to see as the Prime Minister. Same is the case for Rahul Gandhi. 27% people in the survey took his name. So it's important. These are, you have already mentioned, we have not given the menu, and that is why these percentages are depressed compared to some other technique, because people sometimes offer names. So just first clarification is that. I think if you look at the overall figures, what is the message? The message is, even after being in power for 9 years, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been the Prime Minister of this country for 9 years, his popularity remains intact.
Yeah.
One defeat in Karnataka or in Himachal doesn't affect his own popularity.
Yeah.
He remains popular.
Yeah.
But there is another piece of data which should be mentioned. You have already mentioned that Rahul Gandhi's popularity has gone up marginally, still at a very long distance if you compare the popularity of Rahul Gandhi with Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Sure. Shekhar, would you like to just come in on this point on the popularity of Rahul Gandhi? This is not what the Congress would be banking on as they go into 2024. They would hope that the momentum gained through Karnataka and Bharat Jodo, and we'll be talking about Bharat Jodo certainly statistically as well a little later, would have perhaps resulted in something more than the 27% where Rahul is at presently.
Definitely. I mean, their own estimation is that the rank and files have been sufficiently rejuvenated. There is a new energy in the organization. There is a new energy among the different leaders in the states. But there is a long way to go, because they have to improve more organizationally, and we have just seen how they are handling the leadership issue in Karnataka. There are a lot more to be done. But for the Gandhi family, as well as for Rahul Gandhi himself, this is a good news. Though in terms of percentage, it looks only 3% points going up. But I think in terms of perception, there is a perceptible change among the people. As Sanjay ji was mentioning, no names were taken. if after Narendra Modi, they are able to take the name of Rahul Gandhi, I think that's a good indicator as to how the stature of Rahul Gandhi as well as appeal among a section of voters is definitely going up, particularly after the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which has given sufficient exposure, of his personality, of his style. For instance, yesterday he rode on a truck from
Yes.
Delhi to Chandigarh. I mean, these are the things that is, and
Yeah.
you can notice one thing, Rahul Gandhi is particularly trying to interact more with a large section of people
Sure.
who are normally not on the radar of,
And so let's
political
see how
parties.
much further momentum he gets on that. Nija, I think some of the other data points are interesting as well. Percentage-wise, it might be small, but people volunteer the names of Mamta Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal and Akhilesh Yadav. Nitish Kumar is only 1%. He has prime ministerial aspirations. But Mamta Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal, Akhilesh and Nitish Kumar, it is interesting because along with Rahul Gandhi, that is the coalition, the dream coalition, which the opposition would like to form. So any thoughts about the other names?
Look, it'll be interesting. One thing I want to say before I come to this point, Sanjay ji was saying that this opinion poll is post Karnataka election. So is there a ripple effect? Are people rethinking after the Karnataka victory of the Congress? This is an interesting point. But coming to 4% for Mamta, Arvind Kejriwal, 3% for Akhilesh Yadav, I would be interested to know, do they come from certain areas? Mamta in West Bengal, maybe a little bit of Northeast, Akhilesh in the Hindi heartland, and Arvind Kejriwal, Punjab, Gujarat, Delhi. So that breakup would be
Would you be able to tell us that? No. There would obviously be an association.
Obviously, this is a national poll.
And
we have
these are
already
regional
mentioned
leaders, yeah.
that it has been conducted in 19 states. And how these 7,200 people are distributed in different states, it is in proportion to their state's population share in the national population. So obviously, if we are looking at Mamta Banerjee, the popularity of Mamta Banerjee would come from West Bengal.
Sure.
Same is in the case for Akhilesh Yadav from UP. So,
sure. Let's now move to the next set of graphics. These are associated or linked. Who can challenge Narendra Modi in 2024? Name that politician, essentially. Again, the names weren't given. This is what people have suggested. They say 34% believe that Rahul Gandhi can, 11% believe that Kejriwal can, 5% say Akhilesh Yadav, and 4% say Mamta Banerjee. Other opposition leaders say 25%, no one, 9% say no, nothing at all, and there's been a no response for 12%. Let's take a look at the next set. What is the people's opinion on Rahul Gandhi? I mean, it's Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi quite clearly the two dominant leaders. So what is the opinion of people about Rahul Gandhi? We're talking about Rahul Gandhi in the context of momentum after Karnataka. Remember, this was held after the Karnataka elections, this poll. So always liked him. 26% of people who were asked said that they've always liked him. 15% like him after the Bharat Jodo Yatra. 16% don't like him. And neither like or dislike, 27%. So people who don't have an opinion, no response at 16%. Nija, I think it's significant that 15% have started liking him after Bharat Jodo. I think if you look at this, along with the very real possibility that in this poll Rahul Gandhi's popularity may actually have come down, given the stature of Narendra Modi and his dominance, not only has he gained 3%, but Bharat Jodo clearly has gained recognition.
I think Bharat Jodo Yatra has given him the tag of a serious politician. Till Bharat Jodo Yatra, people used to call him Pappu, as we know, and not take him seriously. We don't know when he's going to run away, and so on. But after that, that's not the note people are striking. So it is very interesting. And there has been a positive contribution of Rahul Gandhi to the Karnataka victory, as well as, despite the fact that he stayed in the background. He didn't come up front. He let the local leaders take the initiative. And I think it is very interesting also that people have not named any other Congress leader as a possible prime minister, since they did this voluntarily. who could be the prime ministerial candidate. They didn't think of anybody else.
So they're
So
statistically
clearly-
insignificant. They may have been a few names.
Yes, there may be some few names, but those all have been jumped, will be clubbed as
Others.
Anya Vipakshi Neta, Anya, yeah,
Right.
others, yeah.
Right.
So it's not that nobody has taken any name, but
Yeah.
very insignificant, few people.
So for 2024, like it or not, it's going to be Rahul Gandhi as the main challenger to Narendra Modi.
Yeah.
Now, and he is still, just 27% and 43%. The difference is 16%
Yeah.
to make up. I'm very surprised that Nitish Kumar at 1%.
Shekhar, I was going to come to you next. Nitish Kumar's popularity from a national standpoint is a fraction of even, let us say, Arvind Kejriwal. So, as we talk about the formation of coalitions and the relative importance of leaders within the coalition, Rahul Gandhi up top, but it's not Nitish Kumar who is very much in the thick of action right now in bringing the opposition together.
Vishnu, that is the reason why opposition leaders are not looking at a personality to be projected, vis-a-vis Narendra Modi. Already you are seeing in the preliminary rounds of discussions, they are talking of consolidating the anti-BJP votes in constituency after constituency, because they know they don't want to get into a battle where they don't have an edge. At least at this stage, there is no personality that opposition wishes to project, because they also know projecting a personality also means there are other problems.
Right.
So right now, the efforts of Nitish Kumar also is to see that, if parties can come together, put up one candidate, a common candidate, and at least, if not in all the 543 Lok Sabha constituencies, at least in 300 or 350 constituencies, or 400 at best. So they are aware of this problem. Yes, the Rahul Gandhi's persona is gaining traction, but not to the extent to pose a serious challenge to Modi. So that is why even Rahul Gandhi understands, because I can see from the strategy that is evolving that even Rahul Gandhi would like to add to whatever push that the opposition can get from his campaign, from his travels, from his interactions. Vishnu.
I just want to go back to graphic 3 for a moment, because I think it's important we talk about this. Why? What do you like about Narendra Modi? 25% said his oratory skills. I mean, this is the Prime Minister of the country. He is perhaps the finest orator in our history. But the fact that people, Nija, are selecting parts of his personality as opposed to the work that he's done. So oratory skills at 25%, development at 20%, charisma at 13%, hard work, which is part of the cult of Modi, projects himself or is projected as being a man who works 25 hours a day, if that's at all possible. Charisma at 13%. How important is that cult of Modi for the BJP to keep that going?
For, if you look at it, more than 50% is the cult.
Yeah,
the
it
personal
is.
elements.
Yes.
Other things follow, and some are in that undecided. Oh, it's a very important, today if you take out Modi from the scene and you had just BJP,
The
I
entire
doubt that
dynamics
they'll
would
be
have been
able
thrown.
to form the government in 2024. That's a hard reality. My own feeling also about Karnataka was, had, the Bajrang Bali and the Hindu-Muslim polarization, all that did not work.
Right.
But my sense was that had Mr. Modi not campaigned the way he did in the last 10 days, it might have been a
Worse for the BJP.
No, worse for the landslide victory for the
Congress.
So he stood, like a buffer between that landslide and what the Congress got at, 35 or 36 seats, whatever it was. Therefore, Modi as a factor, it is BJP's trump card, we all know it, and as Sanjay ji was saying, the popularity has only come down by 1% in 9 years.
Yeah.
So that is what the
Which is
opposition has
incredible.
to contend with.
Would you like to add to that, from this it appears quite clear that if these trends actually hold, then the BJP will continue to focus on Modi, A, as their star campaigner, B, as the focus of the election campaign itself, more than issues such as development, more than issues such as policies.
Certainly, Vishnu, I think we are discussing how important is Prime Minister Modi for BJP. I think it's very, very important. If you we take out Prime Minister Modi away from BJP, I think BJP would be in trouble if we are looking at 2024 elections.
Yep.
If I recall a data from 2019 Lok Sabha elections, at the time we did the survey and we had made some assessment that of the every 100 vote which BJP got, 33 votes were contributed only and only by Prime Minister Modi. So 1/3 of the BJP's vote in 2019 came only because of Modi. I think the same situation remains even in 2024, or even more important. Prime Minister Modi has become more important because during last 5 years of governance, people may have some anxieties, but they still remain, the popularity of Prime Minister Modi remains intact. Their faith in Prime Minister Modi still remains intact.
Shekhar, I want to go across to graphic 5 once again. Since we're talking about Modi, let's talk about Rahul Gandhi as well. Remember, 26% say that they've always liked him. 15% say they like him after Bharat Jodo. But I think the other really interesting statistic is the 27% who are neutral, who don't really have an opinion. They neither like nor dislike him. Now, Shekhar, let me ask you this, and perhaps I can ask Sanjay as well. When it comes to momentum, after an election, the question is how long will that momentum last? Will it go to perhaps the next state, or will it stay put over here because different states have different issues? But would you not say that that neither like nor dislike category could actually change based on an element of momentum that Rahul Gandhi is gaining in his favor? If that actually does change, added with perhaps more election results in their favor, then the Congress would be a stronger contender.
Definitely, Vishnu. You mentioned about Congress performing well in the forthcoming elections. I would add one more element. If Rahul Gandhi were to, get more active into rather seen as more into a leadership mode, because at the moment, he still prefers a low profile. He wants, Mallikarjun Kharge as Congress president to take major decisions in consultation, of course. But I feel a time may be coming soon where those undecided people would like to see Rahul Gandhi in a similar mold that they see Modi, as the leader of the BJP. So if you want more that of thing to happen, people want, if you want those undecided people to see more of a leader in Rahul Gandhi, that would require Rahul Gandhi to actively take over a strong leadership role of the Congress. Because Lok Sabha elections are fought, of course, the way the votes are aggregated. But at the same time, they look for a face, they look for a personality. And I think what people could be expecting, those who could, if they were to choose between Modi and Rahul, they would want a different Rahul, a more stronger, more effective, and more, a leader who projects a more cohesive policy pronouncements, a leader who is determined to lead. That is something that is not yet coming across now. What you are getting is the nicer part of Rahul Gandhi as a nice human being who's interacting with a lot of people.
Yeah, the nice guy image. But is that going to be decisive enough? Let's all hold our thoughts. We need to take a short break, but I can tell you there's some really interesting questions which we've asked, which will come up here, including should the BJP-led NDA be given another chance? It does not get more direct than this. That and affiliated questions, that's coming up next. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's been 9 years of the Modi government, and what we are doing is trying to gauge public opinion. So we've worked closely with CSDS. More than 7,200 people across India in a truly representative poll have been questioned. So we've looked at leaders. What we'll try and look at over here, policies, the work of the government, and perhaps the real question that needs to be asked. Do you want this government back in power in the future or going forward? Sanjay Kumar of CSDS with us, Nija Chaudhary, Shekhar Iyer as well. The next set of graphics, immediately let's go to, are you satisfied with the central government's work? Now, 17% say yes, we are fully satisfied. 38% say that they are somewhat satisfied. 19% say that they are somewhat unsatisfied. 21% say that they are fully unsatisfied. They don't like the work of this government at all. And 5% say they have no response. But I think the way to look at this is fully satisfied and somewhat satisfied account for 55%. So most more than 50%, well over 50% of the people polled over here believe that the central government's work has been satisfactory. Would that be a correct way of looking at it, Sanjay?
So absolutely, if we club the fully satisfied and somewhat satisfied, the figures are 55%. But I think there is a line of, there should be some anxieties for BJP, and that look at the two extremes, fully satisfied and fully dissatisfied, because these are highly opinionated people, highly opinionated voters of this country, and fully dissatisfied. The data is tilted slightly in favor of
fully unsatisfied,
fully dissatisfied. That should be
interesting.
That should be a concern for the BJP, I believe.
17% say they're fully satisfied. 21% say that they're fully unsatisfied. So that, is what Sanjay. Nija, would you like to come in on this? That there are actually a larger number of people who say that no, we aren't happy at all with the government's policy.
40% are either dissatisfied or fully dissatisfied, meaning they're clearly on the other side. It's a very large number. And somewhat dissatisfied, if you have 38%, if you take broadly, say half are dissatisfied, half are okay, that's a large number, almost 60% of people. The BJP, I agree with Sanjay ji, the BJP really needs to worry about this. That means the worm is somewhere turning.
Okay.
Against government and its policies, and really it's the image of Narendra Modi, the great communicator, and there's no one anywhere near. Hard-working,
charismatic.
Charismatic also.
Right.
Remember, the reasons for his success. What is it? Hindutva, nationalism, national security, patriotism, strong leader, 24/7 leader.
Yeah.
And also, the social welfare schemes that he's put out with everybody, large number of people getting something in their hands tangibly.
Yes.
And then belonging to the OBC caste, this is not talked about openly and frontally.
Right.
But this is a very important element, and they're a very large, numerically large community. And also, Vishnu, I think there's one other element to this Modi phenomenon, that is tapping into aspirational India. Selling people dreams, things will be better, and people want to feel good. They don't always necessarily
Nija, just hold that thought.
Delivery only.
We will certainly talk about aspirational India. That aspirational India has a lot to do with how the government, for example, is carrying out its development initiatives. Are there jobs which might actually be over there? So how do you assess the government's development work? 47% say that the government's development work is good. 8% say that it's average, 40% say that it's bad, no response 5%. So in other words, 55% say that the government's development work is either good, mostly, or average. Shekhar, would you like to come in on this? But before that, I just wanted to go across to one other important set of graphics and get your opinions on both. Your opinion, respondents were asked, on the handling of the Kashmir crisis. Now, this is one of the most topical issues in this country, one of the most controversial, certainly one of the most sensitive. 28% say good, that the government's handling was correct, it was good. 13% say it was average. 30% say that it was bad, and 29% say that they have no response. Now that no response, Sanjay was explaining to me, means that they aren't well informed enough to actually want to comment on Kashmir. Shekhar, let's talk about the assessment of the government's development work. 55% say it's either good or average. Is that expected to you? Was that something you expected?
Well, I would say that, you see, in terms of development, in terms of, investment for the future, infrastructure and all that, it's thumbs up. I mean, that's not the problem. But where you are getting this dissatisfaction, where you are getting, they are not at all happy, that is an area of concern, and that is what is can be exemplified by what we have often saying, the rural distress. See,
right.
that is what got shown in Karnataka also. See, that is an area that needs much more to be done, because the Prime Minister's response to what opposition has been offering in terms of monthly some kind of a payment like Graha Lakshmi scheme in Karnataka. Now I think BJP will have to look back at its own drawing board, because so far the Prime Minister has been against any kind of this kind of amount. Like in Karnataka, they came with 2,000 rupees for every woman, in a household. Similarly, they have come with 3,000 rupees for a degree holder who does not get jobs for 2 years. and 1,500 rupees for somebody for 2 years who is a diploma holder.
Yeah.
Now, these are the things that is causing lot of distress. And these people who are facing this distress, they have no particular view on infrastructure and all that, because the infrastructure emphasis gets more traction in the urban areas or semi-urban areas. But in actual, rural area, the rural India, the problem is still, there is no cash on hand.
Sure.
That liquidity is something that they are eagerly looking forward. And if that is what opposition can, promote and project in a bigger way, then there are danger signals for the BJP's approach towards Lok Sabha election.
Your opinion on handling of the Kashmir crisis, Sanjay, what I found interesting over here is that no response at 29%, which basically goes to show that it isn't an issue which remains top of the mind for voters going forward, or respondents over here. Respondents, not voters at the moment, which is interesting because it's been a couple of years since 370 was revoked. There's been change in the valley itself. The security situation is fluid. That's important, is it? That it's not a big issue. It's not something that people are thinking about.
Vishnu, in any survey, if you ask the common citizens of this country on various issues, the issues which concerns them in the day-to-day life, they are far more opinionated on those questions, but the issues which doesn't concern in their day-to-day life, and this is one issue. Kashmir, it doesn't concern large number of people in their day-to-day affair. That is why a very large number of people had no opinion. And it is also important to mention that truly large number of people have no opinion on this issue. What is this Kashmir all about? That's what is getting reflected in the survey.
Okay. And if you just look at Kashmir itself, 29% of people, 28% say that the handling was actually good, and 30% say that it was bad. That's also important, Nija, that a large number of people were actually critical of the handling of Kashmir.
Yeah, I mean, 30% is, considering what Sanjay has said, that this is not something that directly affects their life. 30% still say it was badly handled. That is quite interesting. I would have, what the government did had endorsement in the country by and large. There were critical voices, of course, that this is not the way it should have been done or done at all. But that such a large, 1/3 of your survey says it was bad. So it would be very interesting to decode this, coming as it does on an issue like...
I wish the survey could also tell us why do you think it's bad? Should 370 have remained, human rights, computer, internet access, or security concerns, etc., jobs. There's so much to discuss about Kashmir. All right, so that's just a snapshot. But what we'd like to do now is move to the next set of graphics. And as I said, we are building up to a point where we ask a very direct question on whether people actually want another term of the NDA. That's what you actually are watching this program to get to. We will be answering that question today. But first, corruption. How do you assess the government's handling of corruption? 41% say that the handling of corruption has been good. 8% say that the handling of corruption has been average. 45% say that the handling of corruption has been bad, and 6% say no response. Shekhar, 45% say that the government has not handled the issue of corruption well. Is this something which is really problematic? Because even in Karnataka, the narrative of the Congress at one level was that, look, corruption is an issue. That's something which voters in Karnataka obviously bought. So 45% say that the government's handling of corruption is bad. Is that deeply problematic for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, Karnataka election was lost essentially, for this particular reason, the perception that the local government, the local ministers, the local legislators were steeped in, this kind of activity, and it cost BJP heavily. I have always been, holding the view that when it comes to corruption, the BJP has to show more than other parties. Because even though many people may not think it's a party with a difference, but corruption was always BJP's USP in saying that, look, we are different from the Congress because we don't do this. And still, Prime Minister, at the level of the Prime Minister, it is still not sticking that, the Prime Minister can be corrupt. That's why last time, Chaukidar Chor fell flat because people did not accept it. People did not believe it. Even today, they may not believe it. But what they get to see is in terms of systemic, a fight against corruption, things have not changed. Still you have to pay a bribe for your license, for your getting things done, for registration of your flat, for electricity connection, because this is what the complaint I
But you
constantly
know what,
heard in
Shekhar, and I
Karnataka.
think it's important that we point this out to our viewers as well. While we are talking about corruption, and those numbers are large, significant, 45% say bad, when we pose this question differently, and that's something that we are going to do tomorrow, in placing corruption as one among many issues, then as you will see tomorrow, corruption as a percentage is actually very low. It's less, it's well lower, I can tell you now, than 10%. So approximately 5% we can tell you, and we'll be discussing that at length tomorrow. Felt
Vishnu,
that corruption was
Vishnu, to put it differently,
serious issue. Yeah.
To put it differently, when we ask this question, what is the issue on which you are likely to vote in the next election, then corruption is not a big
lower.
issue. Yeah, much lower, much
Right.
lower. Yeah.
Right. Okay, but a related issue when it comes to corruption, how do you assess the role of the CBI ED in the news for just about anything? Political vendetta comes to the top of mind for many. 32% said that the ED and the CBI are tools for political vendetta. That's a significant percentage. 37%, however, did say that it was lawful, that there was nothing wrong in the way it was being used. A very significant 31% had no response. So there's no opinion over here. Nija, would you like to come in? 37% actually said that, no, it's being used correctly, but vendetta, is it political vendetta? 32% said yes.
Well, it's very interesting. That's again 1/3.
Yes.
Who feel that it is vendetta, and that is one of the reasons why corruption is increasingly becoming less and less of an issue, because there's not credibility to what is being, it's not like it's not being seen like cleansing the system. It is going for your opponents, even though, and because they're so consistently going for the political opponents, people, even if there was a foolproof case that there was corruption, and there's enough data prima facie that the person has done things which were not above board, people now tend to question it. What is the reason? What is the intention? Therefore, you've taken away from the plank of corruption being an electoral issue.
Yeah. Shekhar, is that, a thought that, or a belief that you share that, when it comes to corruption, it's all mixed up with how you're tackling corruption. The issue of vendetta comes in quite strongly.
No, vendetta is an issue. The opposition has, appeared to be, going by what your findings are, appeared to be, opposition is successful. At least I think your figures would have come from states like, say, Bengal. But again, I would beg to differ, because even in Bengal, what I get to hear from local folks is, people know what the Trinamool Congress leaders have been up to, what the kind of system that has prevailed there. I don't think people are shedding tears for those opposition leaders who are caught with cash. But at the same time, they would like to see that, black sheep are singled out from all sides, not just one side.
Okay. All right. Well, what we'd like to do now is to get to some of the meatiest questions which we've asked, and this is what we've been talking about for a while now. So let's actually come back to question number 11. Let's bring up that point. Should the BJP-led NDA be given another chance? 43% said yes, it should be given another chance. 38% said no, and there was an 18% no response. Let's go to the next graphic. Who will you vote for if elections are held today? 39% said they'd vote for the BJP. 29% said that they'd vote for the Congress party. 28% said they'd vote for other parties. Who will you vote for if elections? So 39 for the BJP, 29 for the Congress. And another set of graphics associated, and we try to put this all together so that you get a better picture. So vote share 2019 versus now. We did this earlier on as well. So in 2019, the BJP was at 37%. So 37% of people said that they'd vote for the BJP in 2019. That has gone up to 39%. So if you're looking for anti-incumbency, then it's not a factor as far as the BJP is concerned, at least not in this survey. But now let's take a look at the Congress. Where was the Congress earlier and where is the Congress now? That is a whopping 10% jump for the Congress. 2019, they were at 19%. 2023, they are at 29%. Sanjay, is this an indicator of momentum?
This is not an indication of momentum. We would get to know if there is a momentum or not if we do more polls,
I see.
or if we see more state going to elections, and if the verdict are not in favor of BJP.
Right.
Then there would be some evidence to suggest that yes, there is a momentum. But this is a clear sign that things are not as bad for the Congress as it looked like 6 months back. Things are not as good as BJP as it looked like 6 months ago. There are signs of anxiety, or I would say there should be signs of anxiety for BJP. Yes, BJP is holding on, 39% vote, not only holding on, they have increased their vote share. It's like, look at Karnataka, what happened? Despite BJP's bad defeat, they held on to its vote share, 36%, but still they got defeated. So what is happening, BJP's vote share is intact, they remain very popular, Prime Minister Modi remains very, very popular, but Congress is catching up. That's a clear signal from this survey.
Nija, 57% would be Congress and others. Presumably all of the others, or a large percentage of the others, would be members of opposition parties, right? Because the BJP you look at is not the NDA.
There would also be BJD, KCR's party,
right.
Jagan Reddy's party. It would also,
so
include
that
the
28% is significant. Primarily, these would be opposition parties.
Yes.
So again, Congress at 29% with a large percentage of others being in the opposition would give them a, it would be a challenge for the BJP, let me put it that way, at this stage, if elections were held today.
No, absolutely. The BJP needs to sit up and take note, and it probably will. Number two, the message is it must get back its old allies.
Right.
And get new ones. Number three, that the Congress is picking up the votes of those disenchanted with the BJP, largely picking up instead of the regional parties. And that should worry the regional parties. But the Congress will need to reassure these opposition parties, the regional satraps, that it's not going to, gobble them up. So in that sense, Congress taking a back seat a little bit, letting Nitish Kumar get on with getting the opposition together. And I'm told, apparently, from what one hears, that Rahul Gandhi has conveyed to people like Nitish Kumar, look, I'm not in the reckoning, you just get ahead and put the opposition votes together one-on-one in as many constituencies as possible.
Shekhar, what is your takeaway when you look at these last three sets of graphics?
That BJP still has an edge, but it needs to do much more. At the same time, the index of opposition unity is going to be a crucial factor in the 2024 elections. So at the same time, Modi is the medium as well as the message, but there has to be more fresh message coming through that medium. Otherwise, BJP will have difficulty. It has to reinvent itself, and so must the Prime Minister, because that's the message coming. And they must gear up right away, for the way the opposition is also, uniting. Index of opposition unity will be the key factor in this election, Vishnu.
Index of opposition unity, would you say that it's that others at 28%, which we need to look at very closely?
No, absolutely. The way we are asking question, if elections are held tomorrow or today, so if these percentages are, if you hold elections tomorrow and if BJP gets 39% vote and Congress gets 29% vote, it would be a massive victory for BJP in terms of number of seats. There would be no match because the gap between number one and number two is still very large, 10%. So it's all about opposition coming together, having an adjustment, having an alliances. So it's all about what you're saying, Vishnu, index of opposition unity. Unless until that is achieved, it would be very difficult for Congress or for any regional party to put up a fight against BJP because gap is still very large.
The BJP would be looking at this and saying that we've gone up from 37% to 39%. What have we done wrong? We've been in power for 9 years. And yet the arithmetic problem for them is not on their side, it's what's happening within the opposition.
That's right, and whether they can, for the opposition, unlike the BJP, which is relying on a charismatic leader, strong charismatic leader to pull in the votes, the opposition has to work on the micro strategy of getting one-on-one fights against the BJP in as many constituencies as possible, and with the Congress reviving to assure the regional parties that I'm not going to be the big brother. So I think given that, I would say 2024 is not as sealed in favor of the BJP as we perhaps used to think.
Shekhar, is that your takeaway as well? That, just a few months back, and given the disarray in the Congress at so many levels, at the level of Punjab, at the level of Rajasthan, at the level of Delhi, what happened to them in the Gujarat elections, there was a sense that, the writing is on the wall. It's just a matter of time. The BJP is going to be dominant and they're going to come back. Do you believe that there is something which has changed now fundamentally, which leads us to believe that it's going to be a fairly tight contest, perhaps an edge to the BJP right now, but there are lots of variable elements here as well?
Indeed, Vishnu, I believe so. And definitely the perception about the Congress, more so after the Karnataka victory, has undergone a change. Nirja was mentioning, that the Congress will have to keep assuring its allies, that they will not show any big brother attitude. But I can also tell you, once the Congress revives, if they win in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, and also emerge a tough competitor to TRS or BRS in Telangana, you will automatically find Congress asserting its role. It will no longer play a second fiddle. That also can be assured, because that's in part of the DNA, because after all, Congress is waiting to play the leadership role. I remember in 2016, a particular meeting that Mamata had with Sonia, where, Mamata said, let Congress allow other opposition party to take the lead. Sonia said, how can we allow other parties to take the lead? We are the main opposition. In 2016, that is the time she mooted this, let there be one opposition candidate against the ND or BJP, which subsequently now Nitish has taken up. Vishnu.
Right. All right. Well, that's what the issues are. Before I ask Sanjay to wrap it up with what the bigger message here is, let's just take a look at graphic 1 in terms of the leader. Who will be Prime Minister if elections are held today? It's quite clear it's going to be a close fight for the BJP, right? But in terms of their trump card, it is Narendra Modi, right? 9 years down the road, 43% say that Narendra Modi must be Prime Minister, 27% say Rahul must be Prime Minister, 4% say Mamata, 4% say Kejriwal, 3% say Akhilesh Yadav, 1% say Nitish Kumar, and 18% say other leaders. So that's what we wrap this up in terms of the graphics we have. BJP faces a fight, but clearly their main man is going to remain their go-to man come 2024. Your big takeaways, summarize it for us, Sanjay.
No, absolutely. You have all said, Vishnu, that if we look at 2024 contest, we should not take it as a done deal for BJP. There should be signs of anxiety for BJP, even though their vote share remains intact. But some signal of Congress revival. Still, Congress is lagging behind BJP's vote share. If you, as I say, I'm repeating again, if you hold elections tomorrow, BJP will sweep the elections in terms of number of seats because of the gap between number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
So the big message is that for the Congress and for the regional party, if they have to put up a contest to BJP in 2024, they need to come together. They need to have some adjustment. Yeah. For BJP, they still have the trump card, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. His popularity remains intact. So they have to put the act together when it comes to looking at the party.
Yeah. Index of opposition unity, that's going to decide the next elections?
Very much so. That's going to make a difference. And even if the opposition can bring the BJP's 2019 tally, say, by 60, 70 Lok Sabha seats, the game will change.
Right.
So while it's true there is no national leader in a position to give a fight to Narendra Modi as of today, the opposition is catching up.
All right. Well, tomorrow we're going to wrap this up over here for this evening, but we aren't done at the moment as far as our survey is concerned. It's a poll across the country which we've done with CSDS Lokniti, and tomorrow we'll be looking at a couple of very important factors. We'll be looking at, is India an attractive investment destination? We'll be looking at capital growth. We'll be looking at how the world sees Narendra Modi. We'll be looking at your economic condition and a lot of other factors. These are also affiliated and important factors going ahead, because it does form a large part of how people make up their minds. So if you've had an exciting Karnataka election, at this rate it seems that 2024 is going to be even more exciting. We're out of time tonight. From all of us here, good night.